Hello, everyone, and welcome back to, or to for the first time, sort of, Tales from the Long Box. This is our show
Yeah.
where we talk about comics that we think are great, why we think they're great, what makes them great, from the perspective of me, guy who draw thing, and you, guy who read thing and really good at understand thing he read.
Give me that transcript of that description. Let me put that on our main page.
That's going to be like, we'll make t-shirts.
Yeah. And then,
Guy who, which one's your favorite? The guy who draw thing or guy who read thing and is good at understand thing he read?
yeah. Are you team draw guy or team read guy?
Are you team drawing man or reading man? Which one do you like better? Vote below. Comment below.
Tales from the Long Box Civil War.
Here's what it's all about. It's all about comics and what's cool about them, mechanically what's cool about them, technically what's cool about them. If you're here because you like just like geek stuff and MCU and stuff, that's great. But what this show is going to be diving more into the nitty gritty, as they say in Nacho Libre, of like the mechanics of the books and like the actual creation of them and what within that is really cool. So if you had seen our previous episode on Daredevil Born Again and the stuff that, not the comic, but the show and the comics that inspired the show, like we did a lot of talking about like a specific issue and look at how the artist directs your eyes and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
imagine that's why we're here and that's the goal here.
Yeah. I think anybody with any interest in geek stuff, like superheroes and like, I don't know. I mean, comics cover so much range.
It doesn't have to be superheroes even.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's another thing that I didn't want to like pigeonhole us into superhero stuff.
Yeah. We're going to hit Star Wars
A lot
stuff.
of my favorite. Oh yeah,
gonna
there's
hit-
some great Star Wars comics. A lot of my favorite stuff has nothing to do with like pop culture stuff at all.
Yeah.
Like just horror books and political thrillers and stuff like that, or stuff like Mouse, which is like incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Marshall likes art. Michael likes
Read
stories, storytelling of all kinds. If you like those things, you'll like hanging out with Marshall and with Michael.
Yeah.
It's a grand old time.
Yeah. And you do have to choose which one of us you like more.
Yeah, team draw man or team read man.
I am going to make a poll.
Find that in the show notes, maybe? I don't
No, if
Where
you're
are
on
you gonna put
Spotify, it'll just be right there. And if you're on
Amazing.
YouTube, I can also make a post on YouTube and you can decide there, I think.
Amazing.
I have to remember to do that.
I'll actually pay you if you vote for me though. So
Wait,
can I say that? I probably can't say that.
You can say it.
Can you put a big thing saying like it's a joke right here?
Sure, I can.
Because I can't pay anybody. I'm so poor.
I'm not gonna do that though.
Okay. Your computer wanted to hang out with us.
Quiet now. So, Michael,
Marshall,
how long you read comic book? How long you enjoy comic book?
I have been read and enjoy comic book long time. Huh?
Yes.
I remember getting my first ever comic book.
Okay.
It was at a back when the Omaha AAA baseball team was the Omaha Royals.
Okay.
I think now they're the Omaha Storm Chasers.
I don't know either of those things.
Well, there you go. It's AAA baseball, so I don't blame you.
You're
but
a real sportsman.
Yep. My old man took me, and they were giving out. Sometimes they give out little gate prizes for when you buy a ticket.
Yeah.
And it was a Marvel and AAA baseball mascot crossover comic book. And it was so much fun. It was the cutest things, and the Avengers teamed up with all these different all these different like baseball mascot characters. It was so cute, and I had a grand old time. And of course, at this time, I'd probably already seen the Spider-Man movie and some of the X-Men's and things like that. So I had a passing knowledge of superhero stuff. But for whatever reason, this locked it in. So started going to Krypton Comics, also in Omaha. Shout out. I remember the first Fantastic Four comic book issue that I ever bought.
Is it
that
this?
was the first
Is it
one.
something
That's
like
the
this?
one. You found it. That's the one I
great.
got. Dude, it was sweet.
AAA Baseball Heroes #1.
Yeah. Dude,
Written
it was
by
so much
Mark
fun.
Sumerak, penciled by and inked by Mario Gully, colored by Andrew Crossley, lettered by Joe Caramagna, Edited by Nicole Boos.
Gosh, I hope those people are all still around and still doing comic book stuff, because they got me into it, whether they know it or not.
Wow.
So much fun. But yeah, that's when. So that was probably age like 8 or something when I received that. And then yeah, just I've enjoyed being part of that sort of medium, as like the film side of things has picked up so much and stuff like that.
Sure.
So yeah, just kind of followed the whole thing. I think like in my teens, I really enjoyed like knowing what I could expect from a movie before it came out, because I had read the source material in the comics. And that was always all sorts of fun. And now I'm married, and my wife like never had that interest. My wife never had that kind of interest in knowing where these characters come from. So I get to revisit the experience through her, and it is just so terribly fun. And I spent way too much money on comic books now. It's great.
That's fun.
Yeah.
We did when we were in Bogota for a long time. We did go all the way back through, I think, from the beginning, like the Avengers movies, the MCU basically, from Iron Man all the way through Endgame, and then a couple others, because I think there was one that Laura hadn't seen that I was like, oh, we should watch that. And then it came out that she hadn't seen like a lot of them. I was like, oh, do you want to watch all of these? Yeah. Because I don't want to make you do this. Yeah. But if you want to do this, we can do this. And we did. It was really fun.
Yeah, she loved it.
Yeah.
I assume.
Well, we just watched the newest episode of Daredevil, and she's having fun with that.
Oh, good. I'm not caught up yet. I feel bad.
Yeah.
I need to watch it.
Dude, it's good.
I know.
I think.
I believe it. I believe that.
I'm still kind of mixed on it.
I hope people listen to our episode on it where we said the wrong name for this podcast. Where are you going?
I'm right here. You keep going. I'm just checking your focus.
Oh, okay. I hope people check that episode out, even though we called this podcast by the wrong name a number of times in that. And there are some reasons. Do you want to go into what those reasons were?
So basically, we thought we had a name for the show. It was going to be called The Back Issues.
Such a good name.
We did a lot of research trying to figure out, like, does anybody have this name? Has anybody used this name? Didn't find anything. And we were like a day away from sending the show out to the world and publishing it and everything like that. And then I saw something on Twitter that was somebody being like, hey, look, it's this guy from this thing and the guys from The Back Issues. I was like, I wasn't in that video.
Yeah, I haven't even released this.
I wasn't involved. No one asked me. And it turns out that this extremely popular like comic Twitter, social media presence, YouTube channel, I don't remember exactly what it is, but they have a podcast that's been going for nearly 600 episodes called The Back Issues. And I've seen like clips of them on YouTube Shorts and stuff like that, but I'd never known what it's called.
Yeah. Freaking Comic Pop and their Back Issues.
Is it Comic Pop?
I thought that's what you told me.
It's either Comic Pop or Tropes or something like that. There's all kinds of different things.
Whoever they are, just curses. But also, I hope they're very successful.
I hope you're successful, but I hate you.
I hate that you beat us fair and square to that name.
Really good name.
It's a great name.
So we kind of had to do a lot of different things. We came around to Tales from the Long Box eventually. Yep. Do you remember what some of our other names were?
I remember the reissue or the reprint. The reprint was one that I really liked.
Something about reprinting, yeah.
That was going to be a good one.
You really liked reprinting.
We're going to go that way. We were just, exploring different, like, what feels like a fun, cute, quirky local comic shop, like, vibe of a name.
Yeah, local comic shops. Something like that was also considered. Yeah. World's Finest. World's Finest it would be a great name. Yeah. Crossover. Something about a crossover. That's what I have here. A Crisis. Yeah. Final Crisis, Infinite Crisis, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah. Infinity Crisis, Dark Crisis. Yeah. DC loves a crisis. Yeah. Comics Books Explained.
Marshall, I want all our listeners to know, Marshall pushed so hard for Comics Books, both with an X. Yeah. He really, really wanted us to be called this.
3 X's. Whoa. Triple X.
Whoa, boy.
Oh, no.
Woo.
I can see in the dark and I fight weird bats.
Oh, that
Triple
kind of
X. Triple X. Let's do that instead.
That's better, yeah.
Because Comixology Unlimited, I used to call it Comics Books Unlimited because I thought it was funny.
Yep. R.I.P. to
Uncanny
Comixology.
Comics show.
Yeah.
And again, with an X.
Yeah, still good. We love Uncanny X-Men, so...
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, what's an idea that maybe includes...
Yeah.
Like a classic kind of Marvel-esque adjective or something.
Yeah.
Full bleed and fine print, which I liked a lot, but I didn't think ultimately that people understood what like the bleed lines on a page were and like what that actually meant.
Yeah.
And then I would ask people about it and they did not have any idea what that meant.
Yeah.
So didn't do that.
For somebody who is really into art / just printing in general, be a great name.
Yep.
But yeah, not a lot of people would. It's not a ubiquitous thing, you know?
Yeah. Ubiquitous.
Whatever,
Milchick, and you got your big words over here.
There's a word for you all to take home.
Radar Vision was the one that we almost went with for a while.
Yeah.
Because I was looking up at that Daredevil up in the corner there.
Yeah.
Being real dejected and frustrated and like, what do we do about this? And I thought, oh, radar vision, because we're looking under the surface of the book and the words and looking under the ink to see the pencil and under the pencil to see the paper and under the paper to see the tree and under the tree to see the dirt and under the dirt to see the crust and under the crust to see the pizza stone and under the pizza stone to see the oven, the brick oven, and under the bricks to see the ground, and then we go in a circle of forever. And I thought that was a good idea.
Stephen King world building. That was incredible. Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna write that book next.
Proud of you.
That was, we almost went with that, but then we both realized kind of at the same time that Daredevil's power is called Radar Sense and not Radar Vision.
Yeah.
And Radar Sense kind of felt like a stupid name.
Doesn't flow quite as well as Radar Vision, but
yeah,
blind guy doesn't have Radar Vision.
Yeah. The other one was the Watchtower.
Yep, the Watchtower I threw out.
From what I've seen,
yeah,
doesn't really exist.
Which I'm shocked. That feels
crazy to me.
So somebody out there grab the Watchtower as soon as you hear this as a name for a podcast.
What I'll say is that all of these names, even Longbox, a lot of these are still taken. Like there's I was talking to a buddy, shout out Anthony. I was talking to a buddy and I was like, oh yeah, check out the show here if you want to, or don't. It's okay. And he looked it up and found some random YouTube channel called Tales from the Long Box.
I also found that the other day.
A few videos or something. But like every time I saw one of those, it's like from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and they have like 5 things on it.
Yeah,
so and these people
haven't continued. Yeah.
So there was a couple different Watchtower things that I saw that didn't really have anything. There was Tales from the Long Box. What was the name of I don't want to call them out, but what was the podcast that I found when I was searching for stuff?
Not the back issues.
Oh, no, it was about that being could be a good, and I'll bleep this because I don't want to.
You probably should bleep this.
I don't want to put these people on blast, but we looked up a name for a podcast that we thought would be good.
Yeah.
And I found that someone had already used it, and it was
bad.
The worst show. It was like hilarious how bad it. Did you listen to it?
I did.
Oh my gosh.
I wish they had continued just so you can get more of that content because it was so much fun.
It was incredible. The moment of silence for Akira Toriyama followed by this teenage girl just being like, I would like to learn more about Akira Toriyama.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't.
Just huge class project vibes. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
So good. Yeah.
It is very good. So we did eventually go with Tales from the Long Box, which was a name that came from my friend Aaron.
Yeah, and long box because of that's what you call the long boxes that they have old school.
I don't have any of them with me here. I took them to a different place, but this is what it looks like. You're welcome. So I do also have a really good note here. Refer to selves as the big two.
The big two.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should be the big two.
We
Marvel,
can be.
DC, they're out.
Wow.
Michael and Marshall are the big two.
Dude, this is huge.
Yeah.
This is history, right?
It's big.
Yeah. Yeah. Big if true.
Big if
big
two.
If two. Yeah. I like Tales from the Long Box because I think it says what we're about. We're just pulling stories out of old comics and talking about why they're awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just the stories too. Like if there's a particular character, like we want to know what you guys want to hear.
Yeah.
So like if there's a character that you want to know more about, tell us about that. If there's a book that you really love that you want to hear what we think about it, tell us about that. If there's a book you don't know anything about that you want to know more about, tell us about that. And like we've got a long list of things in this document also that we want to look at. We talked about primarily Charles Soule's run on Daredevil in the last episode, a little bit of Zdarsky, but mostly Charles Soule and Ron Garney. Episode ideas that we have here are also essential Batman books, what makes a certain character great, Chris Claremont's X-Men, favorite non-superhero books, favorite superhero books, Thor, the God Bomb stuff with Gore the God Butcher, Doctor Strange the Oath, really good story, Kraven's Last Hunt, Moon Knight by Bendis, or Moon Knight. I mean, there's a lot of great Moon Knight runs that we could talk about. Warren Ellis and Jeff Lemire. Is that beeping? Oh man, it scares me. I don't know why the temperature's going high. The Court of Owls, Scott Snyder's Batman, Planet Hulk, and then something with Superman, Marshall Chooses.
I wrote that because you're the Superman guy.
I am the Superman guy.
Much more than I am, I think.
I really like Superman.
I know, and he's a good one to like.
Yeah. So if you have ideas, if any of those ideas in particular are really interesting to you, then like let us know.
Yes.
And I can make a poll of some sort for that too.
Make a poll. Drop it in the comics. Comics?
Drop it in the comments.
Drop it in the comics.
Drop the comics in the comments.
Yeah.
You said why you got into comics, right?
Kind of.
The movies and a little bit and like that.
Yeah. It was mainly that stuff. I bought that first.
The baseball comic.
Yeah, and I bought that first Fantastic Four comic after the 2004
Do you know what
movie came out?
Issue or not issue?
Oh
what
gosh,
run
I
that
wish
was?
I can picture the cover of it, and it's just a picture of the four with Doctor Doom. Very specific, I know. But I don't know. It's been so long.
Would it have been a floppy or would it have been a trade?
It was a floppy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
but I don't know.
harder to nail.
Yeah, it's truly just I walked into that shop in Omaha. I really wanted to start a little collection, and I did. It's in my house. I should have brought it with me. That would be a good idea. When?
When was it?
Oh, golly Moses. Let's say 2006 or 7.
Fantastic Four
If you can find this, I will be actually blown away.
2006.
Here, I'll look on my phone as well.
Okay. I give up.
You know what? You put in a valiant effort.
Valiant Comics.
Man, I wish I could. If I find it, I'll put a frame of it right here. The movie's inspired a whole lot of it, but I think in a lot of ways, like they've just separated in my mind because the cinematic side of things has just gone its own path and taken its own thing, which is still a good thing. I think comics are just they're still purely comics in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like they're not always informed by what the movies are doing, and I love that, and that's why I like it as a separate medium. You know?
Yeah, I think, and it's better when they don't take notes from the movies as well. Yeah. Every time I see like a certain team or character or something, and it gets redesigned when the movie comes out, and it, like the Guardians of the Galaxy suffered from this majorly. Of suddenly this is the team. Yeah. It's just Drax, Gamora, Star-Lord, and Raccoon.
Where it used to be fluid and
used to be a lot of different characters. They used to have cool costumes, and now for a while at least, it's I think pretty normal again at this point. But for a while there, it was a lot of just like looking like the MCU kind of stuff. Yeah. And it always suffers for that. Like it never works in reverse. Like they take it and they make it work in live action in a good enough way. But then you try to take that the other direction, it drives me crazy. Black Adam was really bad when the Black Adam movie came out, which was also really bad.
And changed the hierarchy of power in the DC universe.
Hugely different. Insert that picture of Dwayne Johnson watching the movie at a conference table, and he just looks like a giant rock. He is the Rock. He looks like this huge, like, Mesopotamian like statue at the foot of this table, just like watching the movie. It's and he's talking about how great it's going to be, and it sucked. And I've never wanted a child character to die more in my entire life. I hated that kid. He was so annoying.
He was very annoying.
He did nothing. He was useless. He was just frustrating, and I wanted him to explode. I wanted him gone. I wanted him out of there, and I would do it myself if I had the power to do it.
Yeah.
I would change the hierarchy of that movie by one. But the point being, when that movie came out, they did so much Black Adam stuff in the comics.
Yeah.
They made him a good guy. He was in the Justice League, and there's famously like a few panels where somebody literally just like drew. It was just The Rock's face, like doing the eyebrow thing and everything. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I was reading Justice League at the time. It was good, but the stuff with Black Adam was just nothing.
Yeah.
It was just boring. And I want comics to be cool.
Yep.
And sometimes they're cool, but not when The Rock hurts me and my feelings and my friends.
Yeah.
And he did that personally.
I know. Moral of the story is let the movies inspire you to go back and read the comics, but let the comics also be different. Yeah. Otherwise, Marshall will get really mad and he'll look like this. Like that. Sorry for our listeners only, because they're going to be like...
Imagine somebody who's really mad.
Yeah.
Think about that. Ready?
Amazing. Oh, heavens. Why, Iota? He says. I'll whip you. I'll karate chop you. I'll threaten you with various forms of violence.
Do you want to know why I like comic books and what got me into comic books, Michael?
Fine, I'll hear it.
Okay, ask me.
What got you into comic books, and why do you like comic books, and why do you read the comic books and call them comics books with 2 X's?
So I grew up watching cartoons, Michael.
Okay.
You might say that I grew up watching a lot of cartoons. Mm-hmm. You might say that the cartoons I grew up watching were Spider-Man cartoons.
From the 90s?
In fact, you might say that I grew up watching various Spider-Man cartoons. Ones from the 90s, ones from my actual time of living, ones from the 1960s. I watched lots of Spider-Man cartoons, Michael.
Good.
I'm a big Spider-Man cartoon guy. And I love that guy. I see him pointing, I see him swinging, and I think, I like that guy. Get me cartoons of Spider-Man.
Get me pictures of that guy.
Get me cartoons and pictures of that Spider-Man.
Love that for you.
Yeah. So I kind of just was watching the cartoons a lot. I didn't watch Batman the Animated Series growing up. That was just kind of before my time. I did watch The Batman, the cartoon. Huge fan of that. Loved it. What other stuff? Wolverine and the X-Men, thought that was really cool. Never watched X-Men the animated series until later on. Didn't watch X-Men Evolution. Still heard it's great. People like it. How? We're blinking on this guy?
Stop blinking.
Literally how? Okay, before the cameras were overheating and I had to stop and cool everything down, say everybody, hey, cool out, chill out, relax.
Whoa, just take it easy, man.
Hey, relax.
Drake and Josh.
Hey, man. Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Take it easy, man.
There it is.
That's a classic.
Yeah, it is.
We're talking about things that I like.
Cartoons. Spider-Man.
Yeah, so I grew up reading, watching a lot of cartoons.
Yep.
And then that got me drawing, and I was drawing constantly. I would be drawing all the time, always, constantly, everything. If you look at all my homework forever, it's drawings.
Yeah.
A lot of VeggieTales. Drawing VeggieTales characters as other characters. Larry the Cucumber as Luke Skywalker.
Oh, great.
Larry the Cucumber as Darth Vader. Larry the Cucumber as Han Solo.
Did Larry Boy ever go up against these characters in your notebooks? Wow.
No, never. That would be ridiculous.
You're right. Well, I think
those are different universes, Michael.
It's true. It's true. It's different continuities, different vegetables.
What do you know?
Yeah.
What do you even know? You know story. You know book.
I do know story and book.
You are the reading guy.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm the drawing one.
Yeah.
I'm the drawing one.
Forgive me, teach.
But yeah, then in like 2012, 13-ish, I was at the library and I found some actual comic books and I was like, oh, I want to read these. So that was Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Batman. I read like the entire run. I think that was, I don't know if that was when it was coming out. It might be. I think that started in 2011. So it might have still been coming out. the majority of that run was out, and I remember like waiting and waiting and waiting for the library to get the next volume. So I was like, when am I going to get to read this? And I don't know that I ever actually finished it at that point in history.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't until later that I went and actually like had the books and was able to read the whole thing.
Yeah, you had the bug.
I had the bat bug.
Yeah.
And then what we talked about in the last episode, Charles Soule's Daredevil was another one that got me into reading comics. And then I read a lot of Daredevil. I was just, like a lot of Spider-Man, Daredevil. I read Ultimate Spider-Man, the whole series in the course of like a month. Yeah. Which is a lot. That's like 300 issues, I think.
It's pretty good.
Invincible is only like 144. And there's one, so it's one of 3 of those.
That's a big boy.
Imagine 3 of those.
Look at the size of this fella.
And that's the entirety of Invincible. So if that's 144, so here, how many is in that? Like 50 issues?
I don't know. It's got to be something like that.
97 to 144.
It's so much.
So it's like 50.
Oh my gosh.
So then 300 would be, what's 30 divided by 5? 5. No.
30 divided by 5?
Yeah. 6.
6.
So that's 6 of these.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, more or less. That's how much comics Ultimate Spider-Man is, if I remember right. I might be getting that number completely wrong.
That's nuts.
But I remember it being a lot.
Did you buy these? That
was also kind of a library special.
Yeah. What was the first trade paperback you ever bought to add to your collection or just begin your collection? Yeah.
I remember going to Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
And I have a picture of when I went to this Free Comic Book Day, back when Rainbow Comics was right over here. I mean, I don't want to dox myself, but when Rainbow Comics was where it used to be.
Yeah.
And I had seen on Instagram that there was a guy dressed as Batman, and they always had like, and when I say dressed as Batman, it was a really good Arkham Knight cosplay. And they have really good sales on Free Comic Book Day. They'll do like 50% off on trades, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I was like, sweet, I'll go. So I went over there, and there's a glare in the window. So I'm not really seeing inside at all. And I walk inside, and I open the door. The first thing I see is Batman. Big guy.
Yeah.
Big guy in a really good, accurate Arkham Knight cosplay.
Yeah.
And he's going like this. And I'm thinking, Batman's about to punch me. Like, my genuine thought is the real Batman is in front of me.
Yeah.
He's about to punch me. And this is maybe the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
He was not the real Batman.
Oh.
I kind of stumbled and almost fell over because I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
He was going to give me a fist bump. And
you handled that in the most stylish way.
And this very kind man in the Batman costume was like, "Hey, man, are you okay?" It's just like not a Batman voice.
Yeah.
It's just a dude. And then I was like, "Oh, yeah, great, Batman." I think I called him Batman. And he asked me if I wanted a picture. And I was like, "Sure." And if I was smart, and thinking, I would have done like a shaking hands for the newspaper kind of thing, like Key to the City Batman thing.
Of course, yeah.
But I didn't because I was so confused. So I just kind of posed with him like this.
Oh, bad.
And I'll put that picture in here. I have that picture.
That's stellar, dude. Look at that.
I thought he was going to kill me.
You're stanced up in this. And by stanced up, I mean absolutely not ready to fight anybody with such a stance. What are you doing here?
I'm getting like this.
It's not a bad cosplay.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's solid.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I love that. I wish I could have seen old Rainbow Comics when it was where it is. Where
now it's a cereal and video game shop.
Oh, stellar! Like cereal, breakfast cereal.
Yep.
Okay.
You get cereal and you play on the Nintendo Classic in the corner, and it feels dirty.
Ew.
I didn't have a great experience at Control, whatever it's called, Control Delete, Alt Delete Gaming Cereal Shop.
Yeah, which is nowhere close to where we are currently.
No.
You can cut that too.
Gotta make a thumbnail face every once in a while, you know?
Oh. Red arrows pointing at you.
Huh? Batman tried to kill me?
That's good.
That's what I would
Clickbait.
do. But I did buy. I don't have most of my comics or any of my comics with me really,
Yeah.
except for the ones that I still want to read. But that year, I remember buying all 3 Invincible omnibuses.
Yeah.
Omnibuses.
Omnibuy.
I took a picture of my haul. I don't have that picture anymore, I don't think. But I got that.
You didn't have the other ones, do you? Didn't you just loan them to somebody?
No, but I have other books that I got.
Yeah.
Here. I also got.
I wish you guys could see the stack of omnibuses that Marshall has on his shelf.
Here.
It is Berserk in here.
There's this tiny book in the middle of all these big books.
Hey, I read that tiny book.
Yeah, it's good.
It is good.
Oh my gosh, Michael entertained them.
I will entertain you by telling you that Marshall is going to perform a card trick for us here in a little bit. Just a little tease for what's to come later in this episode. As promised in our last episode about Daredevil. It's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be so... Oh. Gremlin.
Oh no!
I hope you can hear all this because it's the struggles of a boy in his mid-20s bending over and removing books from a shelf. Yeah, I get it. Hey, he back. Wow, that's a lot of Hellboy. That's incredible. I didn't know you were a big Hellboy guy.
So, I bought these books.
Catch your breath. Yeah. Dude, I know. When you get to be our age, it's rough. Yeah. Hydrate. It's important. I so hope the microphone gets that.
It will. So I bought Invincible. I got, on the suggestion of one of the people who worked there, I can't remember who, I got Gideon Falls by Jeff Lemire. Yep. Drawn by Andrea Sorrentino. I've heard this is really good. I think that this either has been or is being adapted into live action. I actually still have not read this.
Oh.
I've had this since, like, I don't know, 2016, 17.
Wow.
Haven't read it.
Dude, now's the time.
And Jeff Lemire's really great. I love Jeff Lemire.
Yeah.
Really great writer. I also bought the entire Hellboy series. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. There they are. I have not finished these either. I've read 1, 2, and 3. Most of 3, haven't gotten to 4. Another one that I got on, I think this was Tim's suggestion, The Inkle, written by Alejandro Jodorowsky. Did I get that right? He is also a film director, I believe. It just says Jodorowsky. Yeah, Alejandro Jodorowsky. So this guy directed some really classic weird art house movies like The Holy Mountain.
Oh, okay. That's who that is.
You know The Holy Mountain?
I've heard of it, and I've seen clips from it in art house videos.
Movie.
Yes. Very weird.
He wrote this.
Yeah.
And it's drawn by Mobius, who is one of the great all-time
Yeah.
cartoonist illustrators.
Owen Wilson.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's a bad joke.
So this is one of the most visually stunning books. It's a great example of how, I'm not really talking into the mic, it's a great example of how completely different European art is from Western art. And like just Mobius's line work is insane.
Yeah.
The way that he he just uses so many small lines, and there's so much detail on the page, lots of like stippling and stuff like that. But like, look at these pages. Look at I love the big machinery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a great panel somewhere that I can't remember where exactly it is. It's been so long since I read this. This is The Inkle, by the way. I don't know if I said that.
You did. Yeah, you're good.
This is one of the most famous comics of all time. This is like up there with Watchmen.
So
forward by
good.
Bendis.
Yeah, we love Bendis. Oh my gosh, he writes such a good Oh,
comic book.
such a good comic book, such a good story. Just anything he puts his hand to ends up sounding really good. I mean, even like, yeah, again, from the classics major and English major side of
I'm
things.
Bendis and I'm putting my hand to this.
That's what he does.
Now it is good.
Wow.
That's what he does.
The whole stack. Look at what you did, Bendis.
Yeah. So I don't know if I came home with all of this stuff, but it was a lot of it, as well as a lot of trades. I spent a lot of money. I had a lot of money to spend on comic books in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. And I kind of just kept going from there. So I subscribed to a lot of actual books. I think Charles Soule's Daredevil run is the first comic that I ever followed as it was coming out in 2016. I remember working at Defy Gravity. I think Hellboy came later, actually, because I remember working at Defy Gravity the night that the election results were being counted up in 2016.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah. So I would have been at Defy Gravity when those Daredevil comics were coming out and reading those as they were coming out week to week. I read most of Hellboy on break at Target.
Yeah.
So when I would be on my night shifts, I would go and I would read Hellboy in the break room for 30 minutes.
Love that.
Yeah. So like a lot of things, like they weirdly are very tied to specific memories for me. Invincible, I don't know what that would be specifically.
Like timing wise?
Yeah.
I don't know either. Yeah.
I know when it was, if I put the date on this drawing I did of Thor and Superman, where Thor is taking Mjolnir and blasting Superman's head open and there's blood and guts and gore everywhere.
And where's Larry the Cucumber?
That's also, I did a different one called Spiritual Warfare is what I called it.
Love that.
And it was the VeggieTales in World War II, and they all had accurate uniforms to what military they would have been in. French Peas had French uniforms and weapons. Archibald had an Enfield rifle and stuff like that. It was great.
I wish we had known each other back then. We'd have been friends.
That one finally sold after a long time. I was always surprised. I was surprised at shows when people would recognize it, because I know that we live in Nebraska, which is very the way it is. But it would still surprise me when people would be like, "Oh, VeggieTales." Like, yeah, it is. So I always meant to do a sequel to that was the Muppets in Vietnam. Haven't gotten there yet.
The Muppets take Vietnam.
Yeah, I'll put a picture of Spiritual Warfare on here. I have a scan of it somewhere. So for that Superman, I was I was probably reading Invincible and the Gore God Butcher saga at the same time, because I was really into drawing like blood and guts and gore, which is the Invincible influence. Yeah. And Thor breaking Superman's head open is the Thor influence. That Thor that I had drawn was the design from that comic. So it's a weird confluence of things. Yeah. So I don't know, I can kind of like put things in very specific periods of my life in that way. Yeah. Which is weird.
Tracking that through line is so cool though, like deciding where your inspiration was at, especially as you formed like the like skills and passions you have now. Yeah. That's rad. And connecting that to comics makes it all that much more fun, you know?
Yeah. I'm looking over here and trying to figure out, like, I know Ultimate Spider-Man was a big thing for me. Yeah. Greg Capullo's Batman was huge. I love Greg Capullo's work. I don't know when I became a huge Superman fan. That was kind of in the last few years, really. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my influences and stuff, and how long I've been reading comics and what comics were my favorite and stuff like that. If I had to choose a top like 3 books, what I did right here was Invincible is on that list. I think it's one of the best comics of all time. Yeah. Especially in superhero stuff. It might be, barring my other pick, the best. I think it's the best ever ongoing superhero comic book that has been completed. Yeah. I wouldn't even honestly take that qualifier off. I still think it's the best ever at some point ongoing superhero book, not a mini series, not a graphic novel.
When you say ongoing that's been completed, what do you mean?
Like it's finished, it's over. Yeah. It's done.
But how's it
ongoing as in not really? We're just trying to go, I guess. Who cares?
We can just go. Yeah.
Ongoing as in not a graphic novel or a short story or mini series or a limited series.
Yeah.
So Invincible went for years and years and years and years. Yeah. The same thing like Spider-Man has been going since the 60s. That's an ongoing book. Amazing Spider-Man is an ongoing book. As opposed to my top pick, Batman Year One, the best comic book of all time,
Great
in my
book.
opinion.
Yeah.
Best superhero book by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
That's a graphic novel. That's
Sure,
a limited series, a limited run. Watchmen is the same thing. That's a limited 12-issue series.
Mm-hmm.
The same way you would get like a Max, a HBO series, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sopranos would be an ongoing, as opposed to like, I don't know, another thing that I can't think of.
Was that like Young Soprano? Or no, it wasn't called The Young Sopranos.
Many Saints of Newark?
Yes.
I mean, that was a movie, but...
Sure. But it's limited. It's a
limited.
one-time deal.
It's limited.
It's, hey, Tone. It's limited. Sorry. It's bad.
Do you have a top like favorite books as we kind of like close out?
That is such a good question. I love Ultimate Spider-Man.
Original or the current?
Original.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Current one's also fantastic.
Yeah.
If we're talking about new books that you should be checking out, Ultimate Spider-Man, the whole Ultimate Universe line has been really good.
Yeah.
Keep going.
No, for sure. But the original one, I think that's when I jumped into Spider-Man. I think like around the middle of that is when I jumped into Spider-Man comics specifically.
Yeah. Do you know that that's a signed poster?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And it is so good.
Yeah.
And it was confusing jumping into it in the middle of it, but it was still a grand old time. And I connect it with so many good positive memories. What else? You might actually hate this one, and that's okay.
Oh, great.
The Marvel Civil War run, the original one, I thought was so good. Now, I haven't read it in a few years, but I go back to it as like one of my favorite crossover things. When they adapted the movie, I thought it was, while it wasn't the same thing as the comics, I thought it was also so much fun.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I played the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 video game that also adapts
I played the DS version of Ultimate Alliance 2.
That's amazing.
Which was even weirder because that was the era when the DS version would, like, the different console versions would be vastly different from each other.
Very different, yeah.
And if the camera's cut off randomly, it's because they're dying right now.
Yeah, sorry about
They're overheating, and we'll just finish the show whenever we finish the show, but the cameras might stop. So but keep going.
I'll keep going. Yeah.
I did also find a Mark Bagley inspired Spider-Man that I drew that I showed him when I was in Memphis and he was there. Yeah. And I drew this in 2018. So that's when I was reading Ultimate Spider-Man. I guess.
It's such good artwork. It's just stellar. So I'd put that way up top. I also, recent favorite of mine, so there's some recency bias in this, but the Darth Vader comics,
yes,
they just end up so good, and they
every
make the
single
lore
one
so much more
is
dense.
Bizarrely great.
Yeah,
like you don't expect it to be as good as it is.
Yeah,
and that's Charles Soule.
Yeah,
Charles Soule, who wrote the Daredevil run that I love,
Yep.
did, I think, multiple of the Darth Vader runs. He's been like the architect of the Star Wars comic book universe.
Totally.
He was the one, he didn't start it. Kieran Gillen started it, I believe. And I do have that trade paperback of the first one from 2015, whenever that came back to Marvel.
Yeah.
Kieran Gillen started that. I think Charles Soule wrote the the Darth Vader book at that time, and then went on to kind of be like the Star Wars guy. But those books are really good.
You honestly, you pick one up and you like, maybe you kind of think to yourself like, oh, it's like this character is well trodden. He's been around for 50 years.
What can you do new with him?
Yeah. What new stories are left to be told?
A lot.
I guess
like
so.
Really cool stuff too.
Yeah.
We should talk about I would say if we have to choose one, especially the stuff that takes place after Empire.
Yeah.
The stuff between Empire and Jedi is so good.
Dude.
It's so cool.
We could do that next episode if you want to.
It could be.
Yeah.
I never in my life considered how does Luke throwing himself off of the pole in Bespin, how does his son rather wanting to kill himself than join him? How does that make Darth Vader feel?
Right.
Never thought about that in my life.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to. He's just the big bad guy.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I mean?
In the movie, he just kind of goes like...
Yeah.
And it's kind of a funny shot, honestly.
Yeah.
But that comic dives into it, and it's like horrifyingly sad if you really think about it.
So engaging and fun.
And it's so well done.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Great shout, Michael.
Thank you. Some others that are like maybe not my all-time favorites, but definitely like instrumental in my formation of the enjoyment of this hobby. Green Lantern's Blackest Night comic. I
haven't read it, but I'm aware of it.
That was the first trade paperback I ever bought.
Big zombie guy.
Apparently at the time, I mean, it was definitely in that time where zombies were, it was The Walking Dead and it was all these things. The zombies were just big,
Huge.
Yep, huge. Old Secret Wars from 80s, 90s.
85?
85, yeah. And New Secret Wars. I enjoyed that one too.
Yeah.
And I got that trade paperback like as soon as the run finished.
Yeah, my favorite part of that book is when over the course of 6 hours, they slowly reveal 50 chairs.
Yes. That's
my favorite part of that comic book. It's
I'm really
so
glad that's
cool.
what stuck with you.
Dude. This is the news segment that I would have done is my little MCU minute is what I want to call it because I don't want to spend time on movies in this show very much.
Yeah.
But man, what a waste of 6 hours. Crazy. And they were like, it's going to be news bigger than RDJ as Doom, which is nothing that anyone was happy about. And then at the end of it, he just comes out and sits down and is like,
you got a minute, Marshall?
Pretty cool. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Like, why did we do this? Why did this happen? Why did I spend half the day watching this?
Yeah.
It was a mistake.
That wasn't even Secret Wars. That was Doomsday. So you're fine.
You shut.
Sorry.
Everyone, the cameras are going to die. I hope you enjoyed this show. It was a good intro episode. Imagine that this is episode 0 and that the last one is episode 1. Or this is episode 1 and the last one is episode 2. Or the last one is episode 1 and that this is episode 2. And the next one is episode 3. But if it's the previous versions of the things that I just said, also imagine that the next one is episode -1 or episode 2. There's a lot of possibilities for what the various episodes could be. Consider that, chart it all out, figure it out, decide what count you want the episode to be. Comment below, tell me what episode you're listening to and what timeline you're on. Is it the sacred timeline where this is episode 5? I don't know.
You're doing the Charlie Day corkboard thing right now.
Yeah, there is Pepe Sylvia. Oh, man.
I love it. It's beautiful.
Everybody, thanks for listening to our show, Tales from the Long Box. If you like the show, please share it with a friend. We really like doing this, and we want to keep doing it. We're not getting paid to do this by any means. We just enjoy doing it. So if there's more people that enjoy it, it's more fun for us also to be able to interact with you and to hear what you want to talk about and to be able to talk about that for you and with you in the comments and in the wherever and all the different stuff. So you can check out the show anywhere you want. I mean, by anywhere I want, I mean, it's definitely on YouTube and it's definitely on Spotify. I think it's on Apple.
Yep.
Feel free to send it to your friends. Feel free to send it to your enemies. Feel free to listen to it yourself, even.
I hope
Wild
that's
idea.
Step 1, yeah.
And if you do have ideas of things that you would love to hear us talk about, let us know. You can put that in the comments on whatever platform you're on, and we will see those things. And yeah, I don't know that there's any other things to say. In a regular episode, we would probably say, if you liked the book that we talked about this week, then here's a thing that you should check out. But we didn't do that. So just check out all the things that we said. Yeah, we don't have social medias yet.
We will.
But eventually that will be a thing. So check it all out. You can check out my social media, actually, because if you were listening to this on the YouTube or watching this on the YouTube, I'm also doing a lot of other stuff on this channel or working on doing that. I'm going to be doing live streams on Fridays of drawing, process video walkthroughs on Mondays, and there's shorts throughout the week and stuff like that. And then social media, if you want to follow me, it is mparish_arts for all the art and stuff like that. I also post shorts and clips and stuff on there. So if you want to get updates on the show, you can follow me there and get updates that way. I'm also on Twitter and Blue Sky and all the different places by the same name. I don't know if you have anything you want to plug, Michael.
Not yet, I don't. But when we get socials up for this show, they'll be linked for you to enjoy. So yeah, hope you love it. We'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Good luck.